will be the best day I ever had. That's the best way to kick it off. But anyway, today's topic is we want to recognize stress. And I'm saying this because, ladies and gentlemen, I am for certain 100% a person who never recognizes his own stress. I avoid stress. I always tell myself I'm not stressed out. I just don't admit it. Because when you admit that you're stressed out, now you got to deal with it, right? Nobody wants to deal with stress. Nobody wants to deal with the truth and reality of stress. But the fact of the matter is, stress is a part of life. Stress is a part of the journey. Stress is a part of the experience of living a successful and intentional life. You have to deal with stress, and how we deal with it is important. But first comes first. The first thing we must do is recognize the stress. I'm telling y'all from experience because my favorite thing to do was to say, I'm not stressed. There's no way in hell I'm stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm not dealing with it. I won't deal with it. And shout out to the Giants then, who was on a call this morning, and it was really brought up something that was super important to me. And I want y'all to listen in closely, especially my black men, my black community. If you know a black man, you need to share this with them right now. You can tell them they need to tap in right now. Hey, say, listen up, black man. And then not a black man, we'll just go with men. But listen up, men specifically. Yes, men specifically. Why do men live a shorter lifespan on this planet than women? Why? It's because we don't know how to recognize and deal with stress. I'm going to say it again. Why do men live a shorter lifespan than women on this planet? Because we don't know how to deal and recognize with stress. Women are way better at that, right? It's okay for them to cry. It's okay for them to lean. They're more vulnerable in spaces. They have the opportunity to let the stress out. Of course, they deal with different things, but more importantly, they allow stress to be released. And as men, we don't. As men, we don't. And shout out to my people in the chat say it's a fly jacket. This is a New Black History Makers jacket. You only can get it from New Black History. I don't even think they got this one no more. But as soon as I seen it, I had to cop it. So Ashley Gates, she's in the comments right now. Jasmine Gates, you can only get it from New Black History Makers. And also check out their show every Friday at 3:30 right here on the Good News Radio. Get your New Black History Makers merch. They got the hottest thing. You don't only wear gang stuff. So if it ain't gang, I ain't wearing it. Y'all know what it is. But black men specifically has a highest level of death caused by stress, to the point we don't even recognize it anymore. We don't recognize stress anymore as men, especially as black men. We just say we ain't stressed out. It's a part of life. It's a part of life. It is what it is. No. Recognizing it and learning how to deal with it. So, as people in general, how are we recognizing stress? And I only use the black man perspective because I'm a black man. But more importantly, everybody, how do you deal with stress? How you recognize it? First thing in the matter is recognizing when you are stressed. Because if you don't recognize it, you can't fix it. It's kind of like a car. If you don't recognize that your brakes ain't working, you're going to crash. The only time you're going to realize your brakes is not working is when you crash if you don't pay attention. I'm going to say it again. Stress is like having bad brakes. If you don't recognize your brakes are bad, when the time you do recognize it, it's going to be too late. You're going to crash, and that's when you're going to realize my brakes were bad. So you got to recognize when you got bad brakes. You got to recognize when stress is upon you so you can deal with it before you have a bad accident. So you can deal with it before you have a bad accident. You can handle it before it gets really bad. There's multiple ways to deal with it. Recognizing it is one. Second is, how do you deal with it? How do you cope with it? What is your nature? What is your strategy when stress is upon you? What do you do? Now, what most of us do, and this is a learned behavior, we find coping mechanisms, whether it be chemical substances, alcohol, weed, whatever other drugs, it doesn't matter. Food for a lot of people is a coping mechanism for stress. Food. Seriously, food, overindulging in anything. Television is a coping mechanism for stress. Netflix is a coping mechanism for stress. But we have to be intentional about the mechanism that we are using to deal with the stress that we're under. It can be going to the gym. We can be intentional. It can be reading a book. It can be intentional. It can be taking away something. I realized that when I recognized that I was going through stress, I said, I'm going to actually take things away from me. So those who don't know, I actually decided I'm not going to smoke weed for a while. I said, I'm not going to do it because I realized that I was starting to rely on it to deal with my stress. And I said, this is not the coping mechanism that I want. I want a different coping mechanism. A lot of times what happens under stress, new addictions are created. I'm going to say it again. Be careful when stress is upon you, because that's when addictions start to be created. That's when addictions start to be created. Start relying on certain things to get you through certain points. And I'm not saying you should not smoke weed. I'm not saying you shouldn't drink here. I'm just saying you shouldn't rely on it as coping mechanisms. When you start to rely on things, it becomes an addiction. The only thing you should be addicted to: love, success, and health. There should be no other addictions. Love, success, and health. You be addicted to those three things. So how can you cope? Love, success, and health. When you're under stress, how do you use those three to start coping? Success, let's start there. Focus. If you're stressed out about your job, focus. If you're an entrepreneur and you're stressed out about your business, focus. If you're stressed out about money, focus. That means stop going to Starbucks. That means stop eating out. That means stop spending money on on things that ain't benefiting you. And I know sometimes when we stressed out, we spend money. So a lot of time when I'm stressed out, listen to me. Listen to me closely. Listen. Sometimes when I'm stressed out about money, I spend more money to try to trick myself that I'm not stressed out about money. It's a bad thing to do, but I've been there. We all do it. God, I'm stressed out about money. You know what? I'm going to spend money to prove to myself that I'm not stressed out about money. That's a bad mix, sir. That's an addiction. That's an addiction. I see somebody in the comments said, I need my Starbucks. You got to take away the need and say, you know what? I just want it. I don't need it. I want it. And then prove to yourself that you don't need it. So when you do get your Starbucks, you're like, I don't need it. I'm doing it because I want it. Some people say, man, I need to smoke to get through my day. That's an addiction. That's an addiction. Some people say, I need to eat 3 times a day. That's an addiction. No, you don't. Shout out to all the people who's experiencing Ramadan right now, who's fasting, who's using these opportunities to change their habits. To change their habits. Recognizing stress. Are you stressed? Let's start there. Are you stressed? What is causing your stress? Point it out. And most times it's the same things. Sometimes family stresses you out. Family stressing you out because they're begging for attention that you're not giving. So now your family stressing you out because they're asking for attention. They're asking for certain things. They're asking for time. So maybe just focus. That's the love part. Focus on love. You know, my girlfriend Danielle, shout out to her, she always says, just bring me flowers. I realized that if I just bring her flowers, if I just focus on and being intentional about showing her that I love her, and I'm addicted to just showing her that I love her, she ain't stressing me out as much. But when I'm not, I feel stressed out by her. I feel stressed out by the relationship. Love. You gotta show love. See somebody in the chat, he said, I'm stressed as hell. my baby mamas and my bad choices made me stressed. Hey man, listen, I got 2 baby mamas. But I've learned that love does cure all those things. Even if they mad or hate or whatever it is, if you just show love, It cures a lot. It really does. Sometimes we struggle with stress because we're trying to fight stress with hate, anger, or we're trying to force things. Like when stress comes, we try to force things. We try to make things happen fast to eliminate stress. And we're not focused. We don't slow it down. We don't slow it down. We don't concentrate. Shout out to my brother Dash in the chat. He said we hold in more stress. And I said it this morning on my run thoughts. Finding those opportunities, finding those spaces, and shout out to the Giants then, like I said this morning, finding those spaces to be vulnerable in has huge advantages. Especially as men. Men, we don't like to show our scars. We don't like to show weakness. We don't like it. It makes us uncomfortable. We'd rather hold the stress in, and it kills us slowly. And maybe even faster than we think. Your body starts attacking you. It's heavy. It's an invisible weight. I say it all the time. It's an invisible weight that we hold on to. Invisible weight. You got to recognize that stress. It's important. Recognize it. Deal with it. Say, hey, I'm stressed out. And the thing about it is, being stressed is not like, hey, I'm down and I'm hurting. I'm blah, 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 blah. No, you don't have to act stressed. You just recognize it. You can act however you want to act. I say all the time, the power of pretending is so important. You can smile and be like, I'm stressed out right now, but I'm smiling. I'm still happy. See, here it is. I said this before. People think depression always comes in a negative form. I believe there's a positive depression. No matter if it's a lot of bad things are happening or a lot of good things is happening. It weighs the same. It weighs the same. If you got 10 good things happening, it weighs the same as 10 bad things happening. The weight is the same. How you deal with it is what makes a difference. Nipsey Hussle said, don't be too high off the highs, don't be too lows off the lows. Try to stay level. Try to stay level. Don't get too high off the highs, don't get too lows off the lows. Because when you do, that's what creates the roller coaster of emotion. Hear me out. That's what creates the roller coaster of emotion. When you get too happy off the happiness and you get too sad off the sadness, now you're on this roller coaster of emotion. You all over the place. The key is to stay level, stay poised. Word of the day is poise. Stay poised, stay positioned, stay concrete, stay moving. Because sometimes when too many good things happen, you start to relax. And then when bad things happen, you try to speed up. I don't know if y'all know anything about how gas works. When you press on the gas, I don't know if y'all know this. In traffic, right, you can go the same distance. Hear me out. If you're traveling 10 miles with no traffic or you traveling 10 miles in traffic, why does it require more gas to be in traffic? Because you're constantly pressing the pedal, stopping, pressing the pedal, stopping. It costs you more gas to be up and down instead of just holding the gas on a consistent flow. Do you understand what I'm saying? It costs more energy to be up, and it costs more energy to go up and down than it does just to be on a constant. Don't get too high off the highs and too lows off the lows. Stay poised, my friends. Stay poised. Allow things to happen around you. It doesn't matter. You stay poised. See, happenings happen, right? It's the morning and then it turns night. That happens every day. Now, some people allow the morning to give them a different emotion than the night do. Some people allow Mondays to have a different emotion for them than Friday does. Why? You tell me what's the difference? There's no difference. The sun still freaking rose this morning. The moon is still up at night. What's the difference? The difference is how you react to everything around you. A lot of times we create stress for ourselves. A lot of times we create stress before it even exists. We pre-stress about things. You ever felt this feeling right after you paid the rent? Y'all know what I'm talking about. After you pay the rent, it's a sign of, okay, or you pay your mortgage, it's a sign of, okay, I got through it again this month. But then a week later, you're like, man, I got rent due in 3 weeks. Now you start feeling anxiety again. That's causing stress for no reason. Listen, there's going to be moments already. There's going to already be moments that come that require you to be stressed about. I'm going to say it again. There are moments in life that are going to require you to be stressed about it. But how you deal with the stress is most important. How you deal with the stress is most important. How do you handle it? You say, this is a stressful situation. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wake up earlier. This is going to require focus. How do you deal with stress? And we was talking about it this morning. The best way to deal with it is to concentrate. Hone in. The reason why you're stressed out probably because you got too many things going on. You got too many ideas. Your feathers are ruffled. You're trying to plug this hole and plug this hole and plug that hole and plug that hole. You're trying to keep every plate spinning. You're running around trying to keep every plate spinning, and that's stressing you out. There's no time to settle. Sometimes you gotta look at a plate and say, I'm just gonna let that plate break over there. Forget it. Skip that plate. I don't need that many plates anyways. I need to focus on these 3 plates in front of me. These are the important plates. These are the ones I need to focus on. That plate don't really matter. This plate right here is all that matters. These few plates right here is what matters most. So when stress comes, focus on what matters most. You tell yourself, write down the top 3 priorities and focus on that. We talked about love, success. Now we're talking about health, which should be an awesome addiction. Are you addicted to your health? Let's ask that. Let's answer this question. Are you addicted to your health? Are you addicted to living a healthy lifestyle? Because nothing feels better. Not money, not love, not sex, not drugs. Nothing feels better than feeling healthy. I'm telling you, nothing feels better than feeling. You can be broke as hell. And y'all know that, listen, y'all know how we all know this is true? You know when people break up in relationships, where's the first place they go? To the gym. Why is that? Because the sense of self-progression, of health, of body gives you the greatest feeling of success that even exists. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the love surrounding you. You can be progressive as you want. If your body ain't right, if you're not doing nothing to progress your personal health, you know that nothing else matters. So find an addiction to your health. If you stressed out, start working out more. If you can't figure out what to do, go to the gym. I know nobody wants to hear this, but go for a run. Nobody wants to hear that, but I dare you to go for a run. Y'all don't want to hear that. The first thing you'll do when you hear that is, I can't go running because I got my knee. I can't go running because my foot. I'm not saying you got to run fast. You just got to get your ass out there. Go for a walk then. Because walking is the common denominator to running. Walking is a slow run. Start where you can. They say exercise is the best way to deal with stress. I've seen it many times. You know what else is a good way to prevent stress? And I'm reading this book right now called Morning Millionaire. Morning Millionaire. They say that more stress is relieved in the morning than any other time of the day. I'm going to say it again. More stress is relieved than any other time of the day. That's why most people go work out in the morning. That's why most people who are super successful talk about waking up when? They talk about waking up early. And the funny thing, it talks about staying up late, but it said it's not as impactful as waking up early. Staying up late and waking up early, two different things. This morning, shout out to my guy Nunley. He said the early bird gets the worm, right? But if you wake up a little bit early, you get a couple of worms. You get a couple of them motherfuckers, right? I usually don't curse, but I have to say it. Waking up early, you get a few worms. Shout out to Jasmine Gates. She's in the chat. She says, the weight of success is heavy. It's super heavy. Thanks for rocking the merch. Of course, it's gang. Listen, I don't wear, it's hardly ever you'll catch me wearing Nike. Maybe if I'm running or something, you'll catch me wearing Reebok. Listen, I'm not representing nobody that don't represent me. You understand? I understand. I'm a walking billboard. Maybe, I don't think a lot of y'all get that. Walking billboard. We pay these companies and brands to advertise for them. Are you kidding me? I'm going to advertise for the gang. If you rocking with me, I'm rocking with you, and I'm going to represent you because I know that you represent me. And that's how I roll. So what I was saying, stress. Listen, you're going to be stressed no matter what. You're going to be stressed whether things are going great or whether things are going not so great. They say the rich people has problems too. Jim Rohn says he went to Beverly Hills and discovered it rains on the rich. They get rain too. Listen, when you got a big house, more people trying to break in. Have you ever thought about that? The higher you climb, the further the fall. People don't want to sue you when you ain't got nothing. Everybody want to sue you when you got a lot. So do you understand what I'm saying? Stress is going to be there no matter what. Recognizing it and learning how to deal with it is truly a strategy. So if you're dealing with a little bit of stress right now, learn how to deal with your stress now. Because if you're trying to be super successful, there's going to be successful stress. There's a such thing as successful stress. I was with Jasmine the other day, and she got a big old shit. I got to make 90 shirts. Now, some people will be like, damn, like, oh, that's good, but that's still a stressful situation. I got to complete this order. Man, I was listening to this podcast, man, and y'all know I only listen like one or two, right? Outside of the good news. Listen to everything on the good news, but I don't listen to nothing else outside of that. And they were talking about how they got this order from Trader Joe's worth $500,000. Hear what I'm saying? The order they received was worth $500,000. It's the biggest order they ever had in their life. Now, the thing about it is you got to fulfill the order before you get paid. They didn't have enough money, product, none of that to fulfill this order. So they stressed out and saying, damn, we don't even have the money or the product, the labor to fulfill this $500,000 order. We got to fulfill it and we're going to get paid 2 months later. But we got to fulfill the order first. And then we get paid. That is a stressful situation. You understand? Success also brings stress. Don't think when you become successful, all your stress and problems going to go away. No, you're creating new stressful situations. That's part of it. So recognizing it and learning how to deal with it. What's the strategy? What's the strategy of your success, of your stress? What's the strategy? How do you deal with it? When it comes, what habits do you have now to help you cope with stress? For me, it's running. I got a problem, I'm about to go run about it. I'm going to go run on it. I got an issue, I'm going to go run on it. I'm going to go clear my mind. Clearing the mind. I'm not talking, see, and you can't clear the mind when you're watching TV. Stop watching TV. I'm going to tell you right here. Stop watching TV. Me and Danielle last night, we were sitting up and we was like, okay, it's 9:45. What we going to do? And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just go to sleep. Because all we going to do, we're going to sit up and try to find something to watch, right? I said, nope, we ain't doing it. I'm not wasting it. I'd rather get my rest so I can be ready for tomorrow. And we both agree, like, yep, that's our strategy. We're not about to waste our brain cells tonight. We're going to get some rest. We're going to wake up, and we both woke up early. We both were able to get our minds together. So I challenge you, stop wasting time. Stop letting your brain cells die. Stop using that free time, that idle time, and putting other things in your mind. Hell, I challenge you, stop listening to music with words. I say all the time, stop listening to music with words. Start listening to more instrumentals while you're driving. Start listening to more instrumentals during your day. You need a clear mind to figure out what the solutions is to the problems that exist. And there are going to be problems no matter what. So ladies and gentlemen, you make sure you take Big Wednesday and you make it bigger than it's ever been. And you take today recognizing your stress and realizing how to deal with them and finding out your strategies. So that way, when you become super successful, that stress doesn't tear you apart. Because it's coming. It's coming. Make sure y'all tune into all the shows. Please share the app with people, man. If you're a listener, tell people to tap in. We need it. And I'll see y'all on Monday, man. Let's go win. I'm out.